Thomas Gonnet lied to you. In this video, we're going to talk about the lie that Thomas Gonnet sold you and how he isn't booking 3 to 5 appointments per day or 50 appointments per month. And if he is, why his show and close rate is absolutely terrible. So let's get into it. So unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know that Thomas Gonnet has taken SMMA YouTube by storm. In fact, his most popular video is how I get 3 to 5 meetings per day cold calling. Yet when you actually pull back the curtain, you find that there's something that doesn't quite add up. Think about this. Let's say he actually was booking 50 plus appointments per month. If he had only a 10% close rate on those 50 meetings, that means he would be bringing on 5 new clients per month. And if he was charging them anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 per month, he would be adding $5,000 to $10,000 per month in his monthly reoccurring revenue for his agency. If you take a look at the date that video was posted 4 months ago, would put him somewhere in the range of $20,000 to $40,000 with just his agency, not including affiliate money or YouTube money. Yet, according to his own words, he's only hit about $13,000 in his agency in a single month. And I actually verified this because I am one of his most active 300 agency members, and I'll show you right here. Now the question is, why is that? How come he hasn't hit $20,000 to $40,000 per month with his agency? Well, based on my observation, it comes down to 3 things. So let's start with the obvious. It's very unlikely that he's actually calling every single day of the week, 5 days a week. You know, he probably calls, or back when he was cold calling, he probably doesn't even call anymore, but back when he was cold calling, he was probably only calling a few days a week, getting enough appointments booked, and then obviously spending the rest of his time perfecting service delivery, working on his YouTube channel, and any other projects in his personal life that he may have. So obviously, this isn't really an exposed video. This is more of a critique video for Thomas and how we can use him to learn and get better at actually closing deals for our own SMMA and SaaS company. So now let's dive into the not so obvious. If you actually listen to his calls, he doesn't ask any sort of qualifying questions. No questions that would build his authority, that would further establish a relationship with the prospect, and questions that would make the conversation memorable and actually make the conversation stick in the prospect's head. I mean, these people are getting off the phone almost as cold as they were when they got on the call. What he does is he makes a quick offer, gets them to agree to some extent, and goes right to booking the appointment, and that's about all he does, which is great for a beginner, but if you want to take your cold calling to the next level, keep watching. And the second thing that he's making a mistake of, actually 2 mistakes. Number 1, he's dialing directly from Google Maps, which is a very inefficient way. I mean, sure, if you're trying to get your first client or 2, you can, but you're going to find yourself getting very lost, confused, and wasting a lot of time potentially calling people that you've already spoke to and just not having good track of who's interested, who's not interested, who you don't need to follow up with, and who you need to follow up with. The other thing is that he's not collecting any email or textable phone numbers so that you can put them in an automated appointment system so that they don't forget about the appointment. I mean, how many times have you booked a call with a business owner 2, 3, 4 days later, and when that time comes, they're nowhere to be found? Well, it's because you only had that single communication with them on that cold call, and you're a complete stranger on that cold call. You don't really have their attention or respect, and so you want to be able to set those automated appointment reminders so that you can have multiple points of communication with the business owner. Okay, awesome. So what can we do to improve these 2 to 3 points that I just mentioned as mistakes that Thomas is making with cold calling? Here are 2 things that I've done to help me close my first agency client within 2 days of cold calling and also get a $897 per month SaaS user on the first day of cold calling. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to ask qualifying questions. And this can be as simple as asking them, hey, how are you generating most of your revenue right now? And what this is going to do is it's going to give you insights to how they're actually generating revenue, what opportunities they may be missing on, where they may be misallocating funds. If you're talking to a business and they're spending money on radio and TV, it's almost useless. It's almost pointless. They're almost flushing money down the drain. Or maybe they're not doing a whole lot, or maybe there's some other channels that they're not tapping into that you know could absolutely help them grow and explode their revenue. Make sure that you're asking qualifying questions, and just that single question about how are you generating most of your revenue right now is going to build you as an authority in their mind, because you're actually going into the weeds, into the trenches of what they're doing with their business so that you can strategically help them. It also exposes their knowledge and what they're doing or may not be doing so that you can leverage that into booking the call and ultimately closing the deal. You want to ask this question after you get them to agree to the appointment, but before you actually set the appointment date and time. Now, the second thing you should absolutely be doing is you need to be collecting their best textable phone number and their email. Let them know, hey, what's your best email? I'm going to send you over a calendar invite. Is this a phone number I can text you on so I can text you over my website, or I can text you over more details, or if you have any questions, or if you need to cancel, reschedule, give them a reason to give you that information. And then once you get that information, if you're using a system like GHL, which you should be, go ahead and actually plug them into the calendar so that they're getting a confirmation email, they're getting an email and a text 24 hours before the appointment, they're getting a text and email an hour before the appointment, they're getting a text and email, or an email and text 10 to 15 minutes before the appointment. And I personally like to send a 4-minute personalized message where I just say, hey, it's Liam over at XYZ company, hopping on here in just a minute, check your email for the link. I can't tell you how important this step is, and I can't tell you how naked I feel personally when I schedule an appointment with somebody 3, 4, 5 days later, or even 2 days later. I send them the link to the meeting 2, 5, 10 minutes before the call, and by that point, especially if it was a cold call, they've likely completely forgotten about that conversation. Because the only point of contact that you've had with them up to that point is that single call, which, by the way, was a cold call. You haven't had any other points of communication. So your job as the business owner is to make your business and brand known. Don't just have a call with them. Make sure that you're communicating with them in every single way possible, which is why it's so important that you're collecting those emails and phone numbers. Not to mention, you can use this information to do nurture sequences and follow-up sequences, right? Because you may cold call somebody today that's not interested, but if you add them to your email list, you add them to your text list, and you are providing value and you're nurturing, and over time, when they decide they're ready to grow, or when it's a better timing for their business, they might finally decide to go with you if you're staying in touch with them. That's ultimately what business is all about, staying top of mind. All right, and here is a bonus question for you. Here's a question that a lot of beginners, I guess some people are just scared to ask this question, but if you say it with confidence, you're gonna get an answer every single time, and this is also gonna further sort and sift the clients, the prospects that you do and do not want to work with. You want to get rid of the tire kickers. You want to get rid of the people who aren't actually serious about growing, and you want to book the people who are very serious about growing, who want to book a call as soon as possible. They're not trying to push it off for 2 weeks. They want to get on a call. They're ready to get on a call right now if they've got time and you've got time. So here's the question to ask to really weed out these prospects even further. After you ask them how are they generating most of their revenue, ask them about how much revenue are you doing per month. A lot of the companies that I talk to in my industry are in that $30,000 to $50,000 range per month. That's just obviously going to give you an idea of, okay, are these guys even qualified to get my services, to get my software? You're finding out, hey, are they actually already spending money? Because the best businesses to work with are the businesses that are already spending money. Trust me, you don't want to be the first thing that somebody's spending money on to grow their business. If they're not already spending money to grow their business, it's likely they're not the right fit for you and your company. By the way, if you want my full SMMA and SaaS scripts that I've personally used to close the deals, check out the link to my free Discord below. Anyway, I trust you got value from this video. Thomas, please don't ban me, and I'll see you guys in the Discord.